Hey guys, here's a small play-by-play on how I played Druid on Samarog. In the description and timeline, you can find what I talk about, so you can skip around. As a Druid on Samarog, a lot can be expected from you CC-wise, and you should strive to do the most damage to the break bar in your group. If your pug group is not good at CCing, and your CC is not enough, you can still carry with your heals and keep the Fixated alive so no one dies. I will explain this further later. Looking at our team composition, there are a few things that stand out. The subgroup that I am in and the other subgroup do not need spotter. While Soul Beast does need spotter to cap crit, they can provide it themselves. It's a very slight DPS loss for them, but in turn we can take a different trait line that will allow us to do more CC, and it will be more beneficial for our group. Another thing we notice is that we have 2 Dragon Hunters and a Holosmith. This is enough for us to provide vulnerability, so we don't need Storm Spirit. There are no other classes that will be providing Fury and or Might, so we need to supply that ourselves. For Samarog, we will make a few changes to our gear. While we stay full Harrier, we will give ourselves a Paralyzation Sigil on our staff for a plus 30% stun and daze bonus, as well as Mesmer Ruins for even more breakbar damage. For this composition, I ended up taking 3 spirits: Frost Spirit, Sun Spirit, and Nature Spirit. We already noticed we don't need Storm Spirit due to the de-ages, and Holosmith providing the vulnerability that we need. We also don't need Stone Spirit since this fight is relatively low pressure damage-wise, as long as you don't eat the telegraphed attacks. Having our third utility opened up, we will take Equality Glyph. It's a CC glyph with low cooldown, which should let us use it on every single break bar. It's also a daze, so it will gain the modifiers from our gear and traits. On top of that, I took the Glyph Heal, since it will allow us to burst heal the Fixated and keep them alive. For our traits, we make a few changes depending on our comp. Make sure that you don't need Spotter, and if you don't, you can change Skirmishing to Marksmanship. The reason for this is that we can take Moments of Clarity, which will make our CCs a lot stronger. You will also take Clarion Bond, as we will be swapping our pet a lot, and it will give the group more fury. Lastly, Predator's Onslaught for a small DPS buff. Take Lead the Wind if you decide to take Longbow to assist with pushing Rigom. I took Ally's Aid in Nature Magic since the pugs in my group tended to die in the Spirits, and I didn't want to res in the damaging field. Otherwise, Instinctive Reaction for more healing, or Bountiful Hunter for more damage. We also take Primal Echoes for CC, and finally Verdant Etching for reduced cooldown on my 2 glyphs. For pets, I took the Aboga for a high damaging pet with CC, and Gazelle for CC on a low cooldown. My goal was to have 2 CC pets that could CC almost every break bar. Now that we have the basics down, let's get to the actual fight. I precast my spirits so I can instantly bring them over as we start. Frost Spirit first so we can get Might to 25 stacks as fast as possible. As the fight starts, the first thing Samarog will do is a combination of the attack Claws and Bludgeon. He will first claw in front of him and do damage while he raises his spears and slams them down. This sends out a shockwave that will knock you back and do damage when it hits. You can stability through it, so you can't get knocked, but you'll always take damage. Make sure to keep your eyes out for anyone getting knocked back, and drop a heal on them if it happens. Otherwise, keep stacking Might, heal the people that get hit by the claw attack, and jump or dodge over the shockwave when needed so you don't take damage. The sacrifices are arguably the most important part of this fight. Every 10%, Samarog will jump on top of the fixated person. He will do damage to them with the goal to kill them. To stop this, you will either have to CC him, or you will have to outheal the entire attack. Every group will choose to CC him, as waiting out multiple sacrifices just takes far too long. So what do you do as a druid? First, you have to check the person's health. If they're low, you should prioritize being in CA and healing them while you let your pets do the CC along with using your CA3. If the person isn't low health, you will use your equality glyph, swap to CA or staff for primal echoes, and use the CC from both your pets if you can. If the bar is still not broken due to very low CC, make sure to heal the sacrificed person, as you can keep him alive even if the CC is very slow. The reason this is important is because when one person dies, there will be even less CC the next break bar, and the deaths will snowball with each sacrifice. Another attack that Samarog will do in the first phase is the swipe attack. He will use one of his spikes to swing at the people in front of him, and this will knock them back and do damage. You can stability and have Aegis against it, but keep in mind this attack knocks back on both the front as the back swipe, so it hits twice. If I realize I can dodge it, I often opt to use CA5 for stability so I don't get knocked into the spikes. Just keep your eyes open in case anyone gets knocked, and heal them if it happens. Unless they fall in the spikes, then they're probably dead. At 66%, Samarog goes invulnerable and rushes to a safe spot behind the spikes. Sidestep him and get out the way, or he will do it for you by knocking you. We finished phase 1 and are now on split 1. In split 1 and 2, 2 prisoners will spawn, Rigom and Goldem. These will fixate on the person furthest away from them. We will need to knock Rigom back to where Samarog is so we can do damage to Goldem, otherwise we can't. Someone in my group knew how to pull or knock him in place, but if you don't, you can use Longbow 4 to knock Rigom back, or even use Glyph of Tides. You could also use the pull from Iboga, but make sure it's aggroed onto Samarog first. Make sure to apply a mope and crippling to Goldem so Rigom stays in place. After the fixation from Goldem and Rigom shift, Goldem will launch a big circle that CCs anyone in it. We can bypass this by using our Nature Spirit or Stun Break from Glyph of Equality. We could also just be selfish and use CA5 for ourselves and let the group suffer from the stun. Someone could also kite the CC circle away since it gets thrown at the person furthest away. Make sure to keep healing during the split as Goldem's attack really hurt. You can also make sure you're standing behind him yourself so you don't use the healing for yourself. You can just use all of it on your group. As phase 2 starts, we are introduced to an additional mechanic, the friend mechanic, which the devs dramatically named Inevitable Betrayal. A big and small circles spawn on 2 players. These 2 players need to stack on top of each other outside of the group. Otherwise, the large circle will do massive damage equal to about 80% of the player's health. If the small circle doesn't stack on the bigger one, the large circle player will most likely go downstate. Make sure to be ready to heal since these players may be outside of your range for regular healing, and if they fail the mechanic, be ready to rest them with spirit. The rest of the phases are pretty much the same. You get swiped at, sacrifices will keep happening every 10%, and a last split will follow at 33%. Make sure to keep the tips from the sacrifices in mind. Druid can really carry hard on Samarog, so if you find a group struggling, give them some help. I also attached the log so you can see exactly how much breakbar damage I ended up doing on every breakbar. It's a lot. Good luck!
I've been hiding, yeah, I got no defenses from the violence. I hear you in my head, you're a poison. I'll be taken till I'm dead. I've fallen, I don't need you to save me, but I've lost control. Call me crazy, but I can't let go. been dreaming, been playing make-believe. Really, I'm bleeding a new reality. The rain is falling, no one's gonna come for me. I've fallen, I don't need you to save me, but I've lost control. Call me crazy, but I can't let go. Oh, loving you is dangerous. Lead with fire and blood, and it's eating me up. Oh, loving you is dangerous. I bleed when I cut, and loving you is dangerous. No one is coming back for us. Can't get enough. Loving you is dangerous. I've been hiding, yeah, I got no defenses from the violence. I hear you in my head, you're a poison. I'll be taken till I'm dead. I've fallen, I don't need you to save me, but I've lost control. Call me crazy, but I can't let go. Oh, loving you is dangerous. Lead with fire and blood, and it's eating me up. Oh, loving you is dangerous. I bleed when I cut, and loving you is dangerous. I've been